Hey there, it's David H. Lawrence the 17th, and got a lot of questions to go through for the Ask Me Anything. We're in our second AMA episode. I thought I'd only get a few questions. I'd be able to do it in one episode, but that's not the way it turned out. So let's take a look at what we got this time. So, do you have any plans to make Rehearsal Pro for Android? No. Not a chance. Love you, Android users, really do. But unfortunately, the model that I'm using for Rehearsal Pro is a one-time payment, and paid apps in the Android ecosystem, the Google Play ecosystem, very, very different from the Apple iTunes App Store ecosystem. Google is very laissez-faire about their apps. They don't really care much that there are people out there who make a blood sport out of cracking paid apps and putting them up on all kinds of sites. You really have to work hard to download an app on an iPhone, on an iOS device, iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, from any site other than the Apple App Store, the iTunes App Store. Not so with Google Play. And so there's hackers out there. They just love hacking paid apps. You know, Rehearsal Pro is not ad supported. There's no subscription. It's just a one-time payment of $20, and I have to make do with that to continue to develop it, to keep up with the iOS upgrades. I mean, it's just, I got like 3 people on the team, right? Basically. It's hard enough to keep up with iOS. And so, yeah, I'm sure there's something that you can find in the world of Android that'll help you out. Okay, next question. As a newbie, to whom and how should I market myself to get auditions and work? I know that there are some very good P2P sites out there, but they are a bit expensive for those just starting out. I know you do not agree with the workings of Fiverr, but I wonder if there are other sites of that nature that are more in line with your thoughts on gig work. So the first thing I would say is don't rush to get work. Get good, then get work, right? I think a lot of people try too hard, too fast to jump right in, start getting auditions, start getting work. I got to pay for what classes that I'm taking, whatever. Take your time, learn the craft, get good at it, then start to add the idea of auditioning to the mix. Don't push too hard. Once you do get to that point where you're good enough to really lay down a fantastic audition and be in the running, be competitive for work, then I would say the first place to start would be ACX because it's free. And audiobook auditioning, that's like trial by fire because you're not auditioning 15 seconds or 30 seconds. You're auditioning a couple of minutes or more. And it really helps you with your storytelling, which you can use all over the place. From there, whatever you want. I would go to Voice123 first, just to avoid voices.com. There are a couple of other sites that have popped up here and there. Badalgo is another opportunity. But yeah, they're expensive, especially if you want to audition. They lead you right up to the water, right? They let you go through the whole process. And then right when you're about to submit, oh, yeah, did we not tell you you have to be a member? Yeah, that's like $400. So I get it. I get that it's a challenge. I really do. But I would start with ACX because you don't even have to wait for somebody to ask you to audition. You can go and look for auditions. I hope that helps. Next question. This is a long question. So I don't know anyone in any type of vocal use field, so I need to ask you. If you were working with someone who has never had any exposure except audiobooks, radio, some minor plays, some short IVR work, did you just obviate that sentence? Never had any exposure? I'm sorry, that's a lot of exposure. Never had any exposure to VO work. Where would you tell them to start? Assume their interests lie in narrations of books and IVR, and they are not rich with bucket loads of money to dump into the effort. Providing this person were educated, had good dictation pronunciation, was animated, not too heavily accented in any one particular dialect, have experienced others telling them they have a beautiful voice, how difficult would it be to get into the aforementioned fields? Well, all of that is great, but it has nothing to do with getting into the aforementioned field. There is one thing and one thing only. Whether you have a beautiful voice, a different voice, a raspy voice, a great voice, a not so great voice, it's about storytelling. It's about reaching out to an audience, holding them in the palm of your hand, looking at that one person through your mind's eye, and just wrapping them up in the story, drawing them in and keeping them there. And if your voice is beautiful on top of that, and you're articulate, and you're not particularly, what did you say? Not accented. That's great. That's awesome. But some of the best storytellers in the world, they don't have the best voice. They don't have the best non-dialectical, accent-free voice. They're beautiful in their own way. When you say beautiful, do you mean sexy? Do you mean deep? Do you mean cute? Do you mean authoritative? I mean, there's so many things that go into what beautiful actually means. And I'm sure your voice is beautiful because I think everybody's voices are beautiful. Is there anything that you would put forth as a less traveled path to getting into VO? Yeah. So who are you talking about here? Are you talking about yourself? I'm just asking. I'm just wondering. Less traveled. It's like you're asking for a shortcut. And I can tell you that it may take you a while. It may take you little or no time at all. But there are no shortcuts. You either have it or you don't. And if you don't have it, you got to go get it. And that means taking classes. It means getting coaching. It means practice, 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 more practice, practice after that. I don't see any shortcuts. I think that really being enthusiastic and really being hooked up and just desperate to be in the business is a big plus. But I think you really have to take whatever that beauty is that you have and make sure that you become a storytelling genius. That's really where it is. All right, I think that's enough for today. I still have more. Some of them are very short. We'll get to more of them in the next episode. If you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you know when that next episode is coming out, well, maybe there's a head there, my head, and you can click on it if you want. And if not, there's a subscribe button somewhere on the page. That'll hook you up. If you want to see the latest video I've done, go ahead and click on that frame and YouTube will play it for you. I'm David H. Lawrence the 17th. These are the AMAs. Thanks so much for listening and watching, and I will talk to you tomorrow.